Good afternoon to everybody who's joining our webinar. Thanks for being here today. We're going to give this a few minutes and let everybody join us. We have quite a few attending today, so we'll give it a few seconds, like I said, and we'll get started here shortly. If you wouldn't mind, if you're in the room, using that chat and letting us know where you're dialing in from. That's always fun. I always love to see where people are calling in from. I am in Michigan right now, northern Michigan. I'm actually at our Tribal Hub office in Gaylord. So it's, let's see, cloudy and 66 here today. It's kind of yucky. So I'm really looking forward to San Diego as long as the weather gets a little bit better for that area. They've been kind of going through it quite a bit. So, and Kevin, you said you're in not Green Bay, Milwaukee.
Milwaukee area. Yep.
Great. Awesome.
78 and sunny here today.
Is it really? Oh, man.
Trevor, not to brag, or
maybe we'll get that tomorrow.
Right, usually you get what we had the previous day.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. Well, I will start going through my screens here, and others join. They can just pop in when they're ready. Again, welcome to our webinar today, Transforming Tribal Nation Document Management from Chaos to Compliance. Our partners today are Navient. We appreciate you guys being here today. Kevin Crawford and Trevor Graham, both tribal sales executives. Session today will be recorded for everybody who registered for the event or for the webinar. You can find that at tribalhub.com. You'll also receive an email with a link to the recording within a day of this webinar. A couple of learning objectives to think about while we're going through the presentation today. And anytime that you have a question, you'd like some more information, use that chat, or you can also use the Q&A feature. I'll be monitoring those throughout the whole session, and we'll make sure to get all those questions answered. And finally, our big conference is coming up, San Diego, September 18th through the 21st. Kevin and Trevor will be there on site at a booth. Super excited about that. So it's going to be a great time. If you want more information or you need anything or you'd like to register, tribalnetconference.com is the place to go. And with that, I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to turn it over to you, Trevor.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Give me a thumbs up when you can see that.
Yes, looks good.
Awesome. Thank you. Good morning. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Michelle. As she mentioned, we are Navient, and we're going to be talking about transforming tribal nation document managed today and how you can turn your chaotic situation into a more structured and compliant situation. I am Trevor Graham, joined by my friend and colleague, Kevin Crawford. Today, we're going to talk to you about three things. We're going to talk about the document management imperative. We're going to share some stories and give you some ideas of where you can start on your document management journey or where you can maybe enhance and take those next steps in your journey. And then we'll talk about the real value that it can bring to the community. For those of you who are not familiar, we are Navient. We are a longtime TribalNet member and sponsor. Our world is document management and process management and intelligent automation and using the latest technologies to really just improve how we work. We do this a number of ways. First, by streamlining and simplifying the processes and the way that we do things, and then leveraging the latest technologies and the latest enterprise platforms to support those improved ways of working. So we represent a number of industry leading platforms, and platforms are very important to us. And I want you to sort of remember that, because they're very, very different than point solutions. Those true enterprise platforms give you the capabilities to extend technology and process enhancements and improvements all throughout the organization out of one central hub, all while giving you a core repository for all of your documents and all of your data in your organization. And Kevin will share some examples here shortly, but platforms really just create a robust, modern, core foundational element of your organization that give you tremendous amounts of capabilities, and they're much, much easier to manage from administrative perspective because it's one platform, it's one system, it's not a cobbled together collection of 5 to 7 to 10 applications. And again, this is our world. This is what we do. We're really an organization that's just focused on helping other organizations realize the benefits of an improved way of working. And again, leveraging the latest technologies to help you work more efficiently and more intelligently, which leads into the document management imperative is one thing we really want to focus on today, and why we need to invest in these types of solution. And really, it's just because we have reached a point in our technology revolution that we've been in over the last decade or so, that these tools are no longer a nice to have, but they're an absolute must for an organization. I mean, think of yourself as an individual. If you were using, an old cell phone, like sure, you could do some things and send some text messages and make some calls, but imagine not having access to the internet or your inbox or the weather from your smartphone. It's a way of life that has completely evolved, and it's just become sort of a necessary thing. And for organizations, it's really pivotal for our success. It doesn't matter if it's a tribal community, a school, a hospital, commercial organization. Each and every organization has very important data and documents that need to manage, and business processes behind those documents and data. Now, I'm sure this isn't the first time any of you are hearing this, but we really, really want to emphasize it's all happening very, very fast. And the way that we're working has changed. Technology is changing very fast, at a faster pace than ever before. And really, these tools are meant to just increase our ability to collaborate, work together, be more productive, and do it in a way that's more secure and more structured, to decrease our risks and increase our compliance, which I think it's a good reminder that technology is our teammate. It's not meant to replace us, but rather be a tool that we can use to offload that mundane, think of those like mind-numbing tasks that drive all of us crazy and make us not enjoy our work. The goal is to make sure that those processes are cleaned up and good, and then use technologies to handle those tasks so we can spend time on higher value things and work smarter and more efficiently and more intelligently. And in turn, this allows us to enjoy our work more, right? It gives us more time to grow on the job, to learn, to educate ourselves, more time for creative space that benefits ourselves, our work, and in turn, the community. I want to share some of these very interesting stats that I thought really kind of paints a good picture. And to start, 90% of the world's data was generated between 2019 today. So, we hear people say, like, we feel like we're living in an age of information overload. It's because we literally are. There's more data now than ever before, and our access to that information has never been easier. But I found this interesting, that 27% of companies believe that implementing a digital transformation initiative is a matter of survival, and 57% of companies say that it's critical to their operations. Again, focusing in on it's not nice to have, but these are actually imperatives now. And I found this very surprising. The 45% of C-level managers say they don't know where to start. And we understand this. Again, this is our world. The change management aspect is very, very difficult. And this idea of completely changing the way that we work and the familiarity that we're all accustomed to, it's daunting. And it makes people hesitant to jump into this type of an investment. But really, we want to talk about like the capabilities of these platforms and really your ability to start anywhere. There's lots of common areas that are highlighted here, and Kevin will share some success stories of some of our customers, but really we wanted just to focus on just starting, just leveraging these latest technologies, starting somewhere. Think about in your personal life, if you're an Apple or an Android person, that first Android or product or Apple product you got, and then slowly you've added other products and created this whole ecosystem to make your life easier and more enjoyable. That's what these technologies are meant to do for your work life. And ultimately, the goal is to enjoy our work. Again, remove those mundane tasks that we don't enjoy doing, automate what we can, and give us more time for higher value tasks, for growth, for creativity, and for ideas. But the whole idea is that we enjoy our work and use the tools that are available to us today to help us enjoy our work. And now Kevin is going to talk about some great common starting places and share some customer stories to get your mind thinking about maybe some ideas of where you could start.
Well, thanks, Trevor. Yeah, where do you start? It's a common question we get asked. The good news is the solutions that we offer are in many ways unlimited. They scale across departments, as you can see there, and teams from operations, government, education, healthcare. Our focus really, and Navient's competitive advantage is, what Trevor mentioned earlier, is this platform approach or this enterprise solution. So with the backdrop, most all tribes, they start small. They start in one department with maybe one set of documents or one process. And over time, they expand and move from department to department. So I'm going to take just a couple of minutes and share with you some of the most common use cases we find in the tribal space. So if we start with operations, the two top areas we find tribes focusing on would be finance and human resources. So with finance, where do you store your invoices, your purchase orders, your packing slips? Who has access to them? How do you search for them? A common phase one approach for many tribes would be to first just create a central repository for all their financial documents, an easy way to share and search for them. And then once we have that location established, a common phase two project might be, okay, well, let's look at our accounts payable process. How are invoices received and how are they approved? How are exceptions handled, et cetera? At Navient, we're all about automation. And at the same time, we're always looking for where tribes can get the most kind of bang for their buck and try to automate those most manual processes. Next, human resources, think about what documents we find here, job applications, resumes, offer letters, I-9s. Where are you currently storing these type of documents? Who has access? How can you search for them? Again, a phase one approach could include the setup of a central location to be able to find these documents, as well as security, and a document history where we can see who viewed the document, who changed the document, or who saved or emailed the document out. And then from there, we can kind of look at your entire onboarding process from beginning to end. If we switch gears to the tribal government space, what documents do we find here? Typically letters or contracts, memorandums, tribal council resolutions, legal documents. And what we often find is many of these documents are in hard copy form, right? Sitting in banker boxes or in filing cabinets. So step one is, how do we scan? What's the process to go ahead and scan these documents into a central location where we can easily access them and search on them? How do we set up scanning? Really is the first task. We address many in the tribal government space. The other area we see a lot of interest in is agenda management. I don't have to tell you that tribes conduct a lot of meetings. What is your current process for creating an agenda? How are agenda items reviewed and approved? How are meeting packets created? How and where are the minutes stored? I should mention here that Navient not only provides the software to tackle a lot of these projects, but we also provide consulting. So we have consultants on staff that will first take the time to learn your current process and then work together with you to kind of explore ways to enhance and improve the process. So again, at Navient, we look at process first and then kind of match up the best technology to meet your goals. And so this last slide really kind of gives you a quick flavor of where tribes may start in their automation journey. And this is an actual customer of ours and their automation journey. And as you can see, they started in the land management area, then moved to grant management. Grant management is a big focus with a lot of tribes right now. Human resources is in there, records management, agenda management. They left AP automation to the very end. Again, every customer's journey is different. And the benefit that Navient offers is that our solutions are flexible. They allow our customers to start where they want to start and kind of progress at their own pace. Trevor, I think I'll turn it back over to you.
Thanks, Kevin. And really, to kind of wrap this up, we wanted to focus on the why. Like, why do we want to invest this thing? Sure, they make our lives simpler and more enjoyable, but really it's the value that it brings the community by an improved way of working, an improved way of living, and improved member services, enhanced security and privacy, and just more transparency and trust. We know that tribal nations, you have a rich cultural history and historical records. And proper document management and automation can really help digitize and organize those important cultural artifacts, ancestral stories, and traditional knowledge and historical documents. Really just ensures the preservation for future generations, and again, makes them easily accessible for educational or cultural or even research purposes. And to go back to this slide, one big added value is the improvement to the community resources and things like healthcare and wellness and behavioral health and housing assistance. We know that the well-being of each individual tribe member is closely interconnected with the well-being of the tribe. We know that taking care of tribal members is very, very important to tribal communities. And many of the tools that we've briefly covered today really help the tribal communities by enhancing the services to their members and providing improved services for things, again, like healthcare and wellness and family and social service and just general economic support. These tools really just provide the ability to amplify these services and create a more informed and connected community. And then, just providing quick and easy access to members for various purposes of, again, keeping up with policy updates or meeting minutes, emergency plans and contacts lists, and just critical information that's up to date, and making all of that information easily accessible to community members, just promoting community safety and just a more connected community. And really, I know that there's a lot here, but Kevin and I really want to emphasize that we are here to help. Navient has a tremendous amount of resources on our website with blogs and case studies and videos, and our YouTube page has a tremendous amount of content too. But Kevin and I are here to help. We're more than happy to sit down with you, talk through your current process, talk about your dreams for the future state of what you would like your work to look like, and work with you and develop a roadmap to help you get there and reach your goals. As I mentioned at the beginning, we're a longtime and proud member and sponsor of TribalNet. We will be there. Kevin and I will be there again this year, next month, and we're really looking forward to that. We at Navient, we also host an annual summit. This was from earlier this year, but we're fortunate enough to have a large enough customer base that they enjoy having an annual summit presentation, couple day long event with us to network and learn more about the latest technologies and the latest tools that we can use to help improve the way that we work. With that, we would like to say thank you. We appreciate your time. We know this was brief and a high level overview, but again, we are more than happy to have a phone call with you, set up time to talk with you and your team about how we can improve the way that you work. Here is our contact information. Again, please feel free to reach out to us anytime. And again, thank you for your time. We appreciate it. And we hope to see you all next month in San Diego.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I do have a couple questions that came in. And again, if anyone wants to add a question, you can use that Q&A or you can put it here in the chat. So first question is, what are some strategies for implementing document management across an entire tribe? So I mean, that's kind of a vague question, but I'm thinking, if you're working with a tribe, where would you start? What is one of the first, with your experience, how have you seen it progress, and what would you recommend?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of times I would say it's driven by a problem, an issue, a low-hanging fruit, if you will, of it could be as simple as we are swimming in paper. We don't have very good organization for our documents, and we need to take all of this physical paper and boxes of documents that we have, and we need to organize them and store them in a digital way that makes them secure and easily accessible. But a lot of times, from a bigger picture, we recommend starting small. Like what we talk about, these platforms, the scalability is unlimited. But we recommend starting with, again, maybe one or maybe two, sometimes even three places. You know, Kevin mentioned a lot of very common ones like HR, finance, agenda management. But starting in an area that you know it'll deliver tremendous amounts of value, and it will really improve the way that people are working. You know, say we'll use HR as an example, you know, to really clean up all the paper documents, have everything organized and, you know, neatly secured digitally, you know, right. And then get adoption into the system, prove out the value of it, and then expand from there. So typically it's driven by a problem, but, you know, like Kevin highlighted, there are a fair amount of like recommended starting points. If there are, oftentimes there's a few starting points that we could choose. And again, it's a lot of times it's just driven by a business need too.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. How easy is it to add on? Like, so if you start with enrollment and then you want to add HR, or you know what I mean? Is it just adding new users, or is it a whole new?
Yeah, I mean, great question. From a user perspective, maybe not. You may not need to add users depending on who those users are, what the user base is. If
Mhm.
there's some folks that are wearing different hats, you may not need to add any users, but it's just maybe, you know, configuring document types or configuring some workflows or adding security. I mean, security is a big thing within OnBase. If we're talking about a one central hub for all of your organization's data, those, you know, certain pieces of information have to be locked down and driven by really granular security missions. Again, think of HR, you know, even within human resources, only certain, you know, HR professionals are going to have access to some of that really sensitive information for employees. You know, so being able to, you know, set up different security groups for different departments to be able to access their documents, or again, maybe just some document types or workflows. So it's very, very easy to expand.
Awesome. The next question asks, can you talk about retention policies for stored assets?
So I think I can kind of take, but that's a great question. And really, if you have a policy in place already, what we want technology to do is kind of mimic what that policy is. So it's not as if, you know, our solutions are kind of creating policy, but we want to better understand what that policy is and then mimic that in an automated form, right? So first we'll see what is the policy, what, you know, how long do you have to keep documents? What's the process of destroying documents over time? We have, there's lots of tools that can kind of help us do all that, but it's really kind of starts with, okay, you know, asking the tribe, what is the policy that you guys have for, you know, storing, retrieving, and saving these documents over a long period of time? And then we'll just kind of create a process to kind of do that in an electronic format.
Nice. Well, I have my question up here and then I lost it. Oh, what is the time frame if you were to implement this within a facility, a tribe? What kind of time frame are they looking at if you were maybe to implement only one of the, you know, one area?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, really, that would come down to the scope. You know, how big of a scope is the initial phase. But I mean, we have some customers that they can be up and running in a matter of you know 2-3 months with a really solid foundational, you know, document management system.
Also, I'm going to put a link here in the chat, you guys. On your website, you have a case study that you are using with Oneida Nation out in Wisconsin. So I think that's a really cool, it has like a video and everything there. So if anybody on the call, that would be a great resource to check out and see, you know, what resources they used and how it might, you know, be similar to what you're looking for. Did either of you two work on that implementation?
Well, not the original one.
Okay.
Oneida is one of my customers, so I've been working with them for the last 5 years or so, pretty closely. But yeah, I mean, they continue to expand the system, and you know, I think the latest that they went to was 2018. So they've done things after that as well. But yeah, they're just a tremendous example of how you leverage a single platform and just extend it all throughout the organization.
Yeah, that's awesome. And if I understand correctly, they started with like environmental land
Yep.
management. So it's interesting to see like how it could one, a portion of the tribe can start working on it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, that could really expand to here and to here and to here. So anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. Well, I don't have any other questions. So thank you, Kevin and Trevor, so much for coming on and giving this presentation, sharing all the information. I encourage you guys to, oh, wait, hold on. I got another question. What platform is used for storage? Can you bring your own storage, Azure, AWS, etc.?
So the question is, yes, you can put it on your own servers. Highland has, we have partners that you can put it in a cloud, or you could put it in the Azure AWS cloud as well. So you really got kind of three options as far as where you want the content to sit and how much you want that content managed, either by a third party or yourself.
Yeah, that's a good question, especially with tribes. A lot of tribes haven't moved to the cloud yet. So to have those other different options is a good piece. Yep. Yeah. Anything else you guys wanted to say as we wrap up here?
No, I appreciate everyone's time. And again, look forward to seeing you folks and having some discussions in San Diego.
Yeah. I know I put in there your guys' booth number. So if anybody on the call is going to be in San Diego, make sure you stop by booth 508 to see these guys in person. We're so excited.
We'd love to see you.
Awesome. Well, guys, I think we're going to wrap this up. If anybody has questions, you forget Kevin and Trevor's email, you can always reach out to us here at Tribal Hub, and we will absolutely get you in touch with them. Look for the email to come tomorrow with a recording of today's webinar for you to pass on and share to any coworkers who may have missed the call. And with that, I'll say goodbye and thank you so much, Kevin, Trevor, and everybody on the call. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everyone.